This is JordangeVision. Pull up a seat and kick up your feet. Welcome guys. How we doing? Thank you guys for tuning in to another Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction video. We've arrived at season 4, guys. The final season of the original American run of the show. There's been a couple of seasons of a reboot in Europe or something like that. But this is the last season of the original run, and this is the last season that I currently have access to. So unless something changes, this is the last season of Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction that I'm going to be doing. Maybe they'll release the other ones around here later. We'll see. But as of now, this is going to be the last one. It'll be fun to move on to something else. I've been doing this pretty much since the start of the channel. But yeah, we do have a 4th season to get through, so let's get it started with episode 1. We'll see how this season goes, and let's try and make this the best season yet, shall we? Season 4 of Beyond Belief starts right now. Here we go. Before I get started, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and don't forget, reacting to art is sharing art. Channels like these benefit everyone from the viewers all the way up to the original creators themselves. Also, reminder, spoilers are likely. So if you haven't seen this episode yet and would like to, please feel free to click off and take care of that first. I'll be here when you get back, but for those of you who are sticking with me, pull up a seat, kick up your feet. This is Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction, Season 4, Episode 1. Here we go.
Beyond Belief. Fact or fiction?
Is that a new narrator?
A world that is beyond belief.
You think they could have kept the original narration for the intro at least, but okay. Let's see what we got.
We've all seen paintings that seem to follow us as we move around the room. But what
Oh,
do you
yeah.
think of a painting that changes as we move around it? This is a picture of a cityscape. Look at it straight on.
Oh, that's
You see
crazy.
The fronts of the building, but move around it, and the sides of the building come into view.
That's on a
The
painting?
ingenious artist painted this picture on a canvas with ridges, so as you move,
Okay.
your perspective constantly changes.
So that does explain it.
Sometimes cameras are allowed in to record the proceedings, and when cameras are not permitted, a courtroom artist sketches the participant.
Been a lot of those on CNN lately, you know what I mean.
Even under oath, Matt Richmond is a lawyer who cares about the truth. He'll fight for any client, rich or poor, as long as he's convinced of their innocence. He's about to get the true picture.
Oh. What did you do, Jonathan?
3 months ago, I was hired by Lloyd Corbeil as his defense attorney in a capital murder case. Corbeil was accused of brutally stabbing his young wife, Corinne, to death.
O.J. Simpson vibes here. I am watching The People vs. O.J. Simpson, by the way.
Corbeil swore he was asleep in the bedroom when his wife, Corinne, was surprised by an intruder who viciously stabbed her to death.
Should be easy to prove, right?
We, the jury, find the defendant, Lloyd Russell Corbeil, not guilty.
Okay. Well, the lawyer's happy. The parents, not so much.
I want to thank the ladies and gentlemen of the jury for all their hard work on a very difficult case.
Oh, the look the dad gave them.
But it was that story you told him on the stand. That's what turned him.
The pen story.
Yeah.
About how this was the last gift my dear Corinne had given me. And how I would cherish it for the rest of my life.
That would move a jury, but hopefully he's not actually guilty.
Did it really come across? Because I didn't love that slut.
Oh, don't say that now. Now you're giving him doubts.
Corinne was sleeping with everybody in town. I knew she was. I could feel it. I could see it on her face.
This comes out right after the not guilty verdict.
There was no intruder. I killed Corinne.
And they can't bring him back. Double jeopardy's a thing.
Double jeopardy.
Yeah. Just what I said.
I don't believe this. I don't believe it.
Just rubbing it in everyone's face that, you know, he got off.
Mr. Corbeil, what are your plans now?
Well, this has been a very trying ordeal. For me, and for Corinne's parents.
Oh, they don't want to hear that.
I want you all to think about this. The real killer is still out there somewhere.
You gonna go look for the real killer like OJ?
For some reason, I suddenly remembered the pen.
Oh, what about the pen?
I didn't want it anywhere near me. All I could think about was getting it back to him.
Put it in the mail or something?
You just passed up a $1,500 pen.
Yeah, well, you keep it. You're gonna need it to get the devil's autograph.
Could have sold it at least.
Funny.
Whoa! Oh, you got stuck. What? Did the pen stab it?
Somehow, in the fall, the pen penetrated his chest and pierced his heart.
Well, that's nuts.
And how do you explain the pen being the instrument of Lloyd Corbeil's death?
That does seem a little weird.
Here, should our writers be praised for transcribing the truth, or are they guilty of artistic perjury?
There are parts of that story I can believe, and some that are a little difficult. I'm sure innocent people get away with murder all the time. As I mentioned, I'm watching The People vs. O.J. Simpson right now. We know that O.J. Simpson was acquitted. It's quite possible and quite probable that O.J. did do it, but there was some reasonable doubt created in that case that probably led to his acquittal. So it does happen. It's also possible that, a guy could be like so excited that he just got off of, something that he did, that he said, "Yeah, I did do it, but guess what? Double jeopardy. You can't get me again." I've never actually tried falling on a pen, and that's probably for good reason. It does seem a little strange that I think a pen can go that deep into your chest like that. Like I know if you're falling on it, that might be one thing. But if I do this, that's not going to do anything. Actually, it did make a little mark on my shirt, but nonetheless, if you were, see, that did hurt a little bit, but it didn't stab me. I'm trying to think of the kind of force, if a body just toppled on this, and would it do anything? I'm kind of back and forth on that because I've never really heard of anything like that. But you also hear about the thing of if you drop a penny from a tower, it might kill someone. So maybe force can work like that. Yeah, I was kind of back and forth on this one. Even as I started summarizing it, I think I'm kind of tipping toward the true side of the scale now. So I think that's what I'm going to do for this first one. I'm going to mark it as true. And if it is true, well, I hope he got the devil's autograph. All right, story number 2. Let's get it.
Have you checked the back sections of newspapers and magazines lately?
A few times.
You can become anything from a dental assistant to a minister by simply purchasing a degree through the mail.
Seems a little sketchy.
Charlie Lunt has been making a good living from offering illegitimate degrees through the mail.
Yeah, those things happen.
Hello, I'm Charles Lunt, president and founder of NTTA, the National Technical Trading Academy.
If you're ever watching TV at 4 a.m., this is the kind of thing you'll see.
You have my guarantee that an MTTA diploma will get you a high pay.
Yeah, he knows his commercial back to front.
10,000 victory is sweet.
Has a lot of time to work on his basketball shot.
Oh, you got some more letters. They're all from people demanding their money back. They say they couldn't find any work.
So he doesn't have a perfect success rate.
Don't hold your breaths.
Goaltending, right?
I've been waiting for you, Mr. Lunt. Who are you? I am one of your students. I received my diploma, but I never found a job like you promised. I looked for 6 months, but no one would hire me. I wrote you for a refund, but you never answered.
Wow.
Off me. Hey, security! I want my refund. I don't owe you anything.
No security here. Oh, here we go.
My refund.
Oh, is that a voodoo doll?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the buck, creep.
Ooh. I guess it's a little better than a bag with poop in it.
His only problem was where to hide all the cash. He didn't want to use a bank because he wasn't planning on reporting any of the money.
One of those guys, eh?
His problem by having the wall behind the steel bookcase hollowed out.
Little Scrooge McDuck room.
Charlie loved having his money right behind him, so he could count it whenever he wanted to.
Gotta take ages to count that much.
Oh my God, Mr. Lunt, what's wrong?
Oh, what's going on?
You don't look so good.
Was he sick?
Can't keep anything down. Nauseous all the time. Barely get out of bed this morning.
Maybe the voodoo doll's starting to work. Oh, what's this? He fell asleep in front of the camera? What's happening? Oh, is he losing his hair? Wait. His teeth too?
Got the morning mail. There's a bunch of checks. That should cheer you up.
Yeah, checks might do that. Where is he?
Mr. Lunt. You all right?
What? Oh.
When Charlie Lunt hollowed out the wall behind it, he didn't know that he was removing the lead shield that protected his office from the radiology X-ray.
Okay. So that's why.
Was Charlie's demise really the fulfillment of a curse? Or was it only the result of the radiation coming through the wall next door? and what made him choose to hide his money in the hollow wall.
First of all, I don't think that story was real entertaining. It just seemed like a bunch of random stuff that happened, you know? Like, you know, it's a guy who's, you know, conning people out of their money, and, you know, one guy confronts him and drops a voodoo doll and it sets on fire, yada, yada, yada. Starts making a lot of money and, you know, hides it in a hollow in his wall, and apparently there was some radiation on the other side. So that first part with the voodoo doll and the unsatisfied customer, and really like all the unsatisfied customers that were writing him, just kind of seemed like a red herring, I guess. On the other hand, it doesn't look like something that a writer would make up. I guess it is possible. Like, you know, you start making a lot of money, you don't want the money to be traced, so you find a place to hide it, and I guess maybe there was a radiation lab on the other side of the wall. Who knows? So I'm kind of thinking, and this is kind of helped by my opinion, that it wasn't that entertaining a story, and it doesn't sound like something that someone would write. I'm going to say that this one is true as well. Okay, so I've got a couple of trues. Let's see what story number 3 has in store.
The corner newsstand. Even with all the information that's available on the internet, TV, and radio these days.
Yeah, you don't really see these anymore.
Other things to excite your senses.
Oh, hello.
For the articles.
Sure you do.
The fact is, but young Vinny Rose is about to find something he needs more than anything in the world. A mentor.
Okay. Aren't you supposed to leave shopping carts on the lot?
My mom died when I was 11. I've been scavenging out on the street ever since.
Yeah, maybe it's his cart.
The streets are a tough place to live when you're only 15.
Yeah, true. Oh, no. Hide. Yeah, that's not good.
My dad was a bad drunk. I don't remember much about him, but he beat me with his belt. Ran out with me and my mom when I was only 3. All he left behind was a lot of bills and a belt buckle with his initials on it. DR for Don Rose.
It's gotta find more now.
That's when I found it.
Oh, what'd you find? Oh, is that a comic book or something?
The old magazine was in perfect condition.
1939. Yeah, that might be worth something.
Pretty good condition. You steal it?
No. I found it in a dumpster, I swear.
I'll give you $10.
20.
10
That
bucks?
hoagie sandwich you got sitting over there.
Yeah, he's gotta eat too.
I could use some help around here. So I'm offering you a job.
Oh, what's the
Why not, buddy?
Catch. Gotta work.
Isn't that the catch of any job?
He was better to me
Oh, yeah.
than I'd ever known.
I wonder. I'm getting a feeling.
After a while, I got so good at what I was doing, Doc actually left me in charge. He'd take off for a couple hours every few days.
See? Give a kid a chance, you know? You never know what he's capable of. Oh, hey. Is that one of the same kids?
Put him back.
For what back?
For stealing cigarettes.
Hear that? He's calling me a thief.
Don't want to be called a thief? Don't be a thief.
Let him go! What are you gonna do about it all? Let him go! Dude's crazy!
Oh.
Get out of here!
I'm sorry I let you down.
Just a couple of cigarettes, man.
The next day, Doc left again. I was glad he still trusted me to run things.
Maybe have the cops on standby.
Are you Vincent Rose?
Yeah, why?
I'm Doc's attorney, Addison Montgomery.
Oh no, what happened?
Doc was diagnosed with a brain tumor 6 months ago.
6 months ago?
He died yesterday during surgery.
Oh no. Well, I guess that's where he's been.
He asked me to give you this, in case you didn't make it.
Okay, what is it?
Dear Vinny.
Dear Vinny, yeah.
When I first saw you, I knew who you were right away.
Yeah, this is what I thought.
The key in this envelope is to a safe deposit box at First Monument Bank. Inside is the deed to the newsstand and $50,000.
Oh, yeah.
I love you, son, and I'm sorry I had to leave you again. Doc Rose, your dad.
Don't do this to me, show.
How could a magazine from 1939, found in an alley, still be in such pristine condition?
That's a really good question.
Is this touching tale of a father-son reunited based on truth, or is it as false as the headlines of a phony tabloid?
I mean, he was on Star Trek. He might have been kidnapped by aliens. One of the more touching stories I've seen in the show. I've had a few emotional moments on this show. This one almost got me there too, right at the end there. But how true do I believe it is? It seems like a lot of coincidence, like him finding, you know, a mint condition magazine from 1939 under a dumpster, which, you know, why would it be there? Maybe it was planted, I don't know, but you know, you plant something there, you run the risk of someone else finding it, and then you lose it forever, right? So, and then he just happens to run into his dad running the newsstand, and you know, all that stuff happens. He gets robbed, he gets saved, and then his dad ends up dying. Like, he didn't look sick, I guess. I guess some people can be sick and not look sick. I guess that's not really the most unbelievable part of the story. It sounds like the kind of thing that, you know, maybe could be true, but all this stuff together, it's a lot. It was a very touching story. It's one of my favorite stories that I've seen in the show, but I do have a hard time believing it. So I'm going to mark it as fiction. All right, now that I've marked that down and now that I've recovered from the end of that story, let's get to the next one.
Have you ever walked through a graveyard?
Many times.
It could be a strange and foreboding place.
It's actually one of the most peaceful places in the world.
And the chill in the air they're about to feel is due to more than the sudden change in the weather.
A murder story, eh?
But my girlfriend Stacy and I were given a predictable assignment for history class. We had to trace the family trees of our prominent local citizens.
Okay. Genealogy project, I can dig that.
Is there such a thing as cemetery-itis?
Well, a lot of people here have probably had some itises.
They all ended up in the same place. After all the time we've spent researching this stupid report, I feel like we've ended up here.
Oh, hey. Someone might have just ended up here.
I don't know, a car backfire?
I don't think there's a road on that side of the cemetery.
Well, what else could it be?
You ladies be careful.
He's got a gun.
You're kidding, right?
No,
Is
I'm not.
he-
And he's headed this way. Quick, over here.
Who's he shooting? Oh no, he's stealing their stuff. If this happened, that would make a cemetery scary.
Let them know Roy Hennessy was killed by Jerry Fletcher.
Alright, he knew his killer.
We gotta get to the car. I left my cell phone there.
No teenager in this day and age would ever leave their cell phone in the car.
And then he said, let them know Roy Hennessy was killed by Jerry Fletcher. Tell them that.
Yeah.
Believe me, there's not one detail of this I'll ever be able to forget.
God knows I'm going to try.
Yeah, nobody would ever forget that.
There's no sign of a body. Anywhere.
That doesn't make any sense.
Killer could have came back and collected it.
What about the man with the gun? The long hair? He ran right past us. We didn't make this up.
I could see them maybe imagining one person, but not the second one.
Radio Sergeant Morgan. He's making a transfer from downtown to the county lockup. I want him to swing by here.
So he's got a perp in the car? Is this him? Yep. That's the guy.
It's Fletcher, right? What is it?
I'm afraid there's a couple problems with your story.
Like what?
Roy Hennessy was shot and killed in the cemetery.
So what's the problem?
It was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Man in the patrol car is in fact Jerry Fletcher. He was picked up
Yeah.
after he botched an armed robbery. But you couldn't have seen him here. He's been held in police custody for 72 hours, so...
So what did they see?
Let's go by forensics. Just for the hell of it, I want to run a test on Fletcher's gun from the robbery.
Okay, so they're gonna check it.
The results of the test on Jerry Fletcher's handgun showed it was the same weapon that had been used in the shooting of Roy Hennessy. When he was told about the evidence, Jerry Fletcher confessed to the murder that he had committed 2 years before.
Okay, so they see a phantom murder and it gets solved.
Did they witness the original murder in some unexplainable time warp? Or perhaps some locals who knew the story were playing a prank on the two girls. But then how do you explain the identity of the man in the police car?
So this is another one that's kind of breaking my brain. It's two girls, right? So, and they both see the same thing, so it's not in one girl's imagination or anything like that. They both see the shooter and they both see the victim. This is a murder that happened 2 years ago. Like, this guy died 2 years ago, and, you know, they see the shooter, but apparently the shooter has actually been in police custody for the last 3 days. It's quite a strange story. And then somehow, based on what the girls saw, which is probably a hallucination, like, because, again, this murder happened 2 years ago, they check his weapon and find out that he did actually shoot Roy Hennessy. If it was one person, I could see that, maybe being in their imagination. Maybe it was something they heard about before. Maybe it's something they found out in their research that, a murder like that happened. But even so, the sheer coincidence that, the same guy just happens to be in the back of the police car that comes in response to them. I complained about that one story before that it wasn't really well written. This one is pretty well written. Like it's a story. This is one that could be fleshed out into a whole movie or a whole TV episode or whatever. Whoever wrote this did a really good job with it, but I'm not thinking it's real. I'm going to mark it as fiction. And if it is true, this is definitely one I need to research, because that's a crazy story. Okay, we got one more story, and then we get our answer. Story number 5. Let's do it.
The notion of the grizzled cowboys riding into the sunset, it's always meant heroic freedom to most Americans.
Yeah,
Not
heard those
everybody will
stories.
get it. A good many of them, like Zerelda Hart, struggled to get by, barely making ends meet. She lives alone in her tiny cabin, sometimes not seeing another soul for weeks at a time. Full night.
A little bit of a hermit, eh?
The year was 1870.
Okay, old-timey story.
It had been a hard and lonely life for Zerelda, but she
Yeah.
remained a charitable and decent person.
Who could that be?
40 miles. She seldom had visitors, especially on a cold, rainy night.
Sounds like an introvert's dream.
We've been riding for a long time. We truly appreciate it if we might come in and sit for a spell by your fire. Oh, please do.
I'm already getting the feeling these are outlaws. I wonder if they're famous outlaws. Like,
Don't you have no kids to help you out?
No, we never had children. It was just Cleveland and myself.
aw,
Oh, that's too bad. It's tough being a woman all alone.
please don't rob and kill the old lady.
These were Cleveland's.
Yeah, he had his hand on his gun.
You can keep them. I have no use for them anymore. Hungry?
Yeah, I guess not. No one to pass them off to.
You sure are nice. She kind of reminds me of Ma.
Your brothers?
No, ma'am. He means his mom.
They kind of look like brothers. Like, almost the same face.
How long have you lived in this place?
20 years. Ever since Cleveland built it.
A lot of people back then built their own houses, right?
What's wrong?
Dang it, show. You can't have 2 of these stories in one episode.
And I had to borrow $900 from the Davis Savings Bank in Gallatin just to get by. I put up the house and land as collateral.
Oh, she's gonna lose it, isn't she?
Tomorrow someone is coming from the bank to collect. I have no way to pay it.
You guys got $900?
I'm gonna...
Tell me they have $900.
Why don't you get some sleep? And I'll get up and fix you breakfast in the morning.
So either they're gonna help her or do something completely terrible. Well, there's nothing in between.
She was sorry to see that the 2 strangers were gone.
Oh, they did leave.
Found out who they were. And then she saw it.
Saw what?
Left on her table were 9 $100 bills.
Oh, there's the money.
We thought you could use this. Make sure you ask the banker for a receipt.
So they helped.
Several hours later, the man from the bank arrived with the foreclosure papers ready to be signed.
Guess what, bank dude?
J.T. Burnham from the Davis Savings Bank.
I've been expecting you.
He wasn't expecting that. Holy shit, she's got the money.
Man, but the thing that really surprised him is when she insisted
Wow.
on a receipt. He reluctantly gave her one, but was puzzled as to why she made such a point of it.
Because the 2 strangers told her to. Oh, here we go, here we go. Oh, they're gonna rob him. Oh.
Tell your friends, you were just robbed by Frank and Jesse James.
Oh, yeah. I knew they had to be famous somehow.
Did Jesse and Frank James really play the part of Robin Hood for Zerelda Hart? It's hard to imagine, but the plight of the helpless old lady may have actually touched the cold stone hearts of the West's most notorious outlaws.
This is a bit of a tough one. Again, this is one of those things where, I could just Google Frank and Jesse James and see if anything like that ever happened. But that would be cheating if I did that. So I got to do that right now, just with the little gray cells, type of thing. But Could it be possible? 1870. It's definitely around the time that you know, they were around. I'm guessing, yeah, that maybe they did go to her house to rob her. And you saw the scene where, you know, one of them did have a hand on the gun type of thing. You know, she told the, you know, the big sad story, and I guess they got touched by it, and they left the money, and once that money was collected, they stole it back. And yeah, I don't know if they took it for themselves or if they brought it back to her. The story didn't go that far. It does kind of sound like something Frank and Jesse James would do. So yeah, it's a tough one. Like, I never actually heard of them doing something like that. Like, you know, doing something charitable so, you know, this old lady wouldn't lose her home. I'm inclined to think, and I'm definitely going to look this up when I get done here. I'm inclined to think that maybe this actually happened. I'm going to mark this last story as true. So I have stories 1, 2, and 5 marked as true. I have stories 3 and 4 marked as fiction. Let's see how I'm going to start season 4 off.
Now let's look back at tonight's stories and find out which ones are inspired by actual events and which ones are totally false.
Okay.
What about the criminal who used a pen to write a death sentence?
So I said true on this one.
Yeah, well, you keep it. You're gonna need it to get the devil's autograph.
The law books are filled with bizarre tales of people who met with strange ends after their trial. Was this one? Yes.
Yes.
An event like this happened to a lawyer from upstate New York in the 70s.
All right, got the first one.
Let's review the story of the mail order swindler who cheated everything but death.
I said true on this one too.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
Yes.
A similar story occurred outside New York City in the late 80s.
All right, got the first two.
How about the story of the father and son who were reunited at the corner newsstand?
Hey, mister!
Wonderful story. Almost got me, but I said fiction.
I'll give you $10.
20.
Was this story based on a real happening? Not this time.
Not this time. Okay, got the first three. This might be a big one.
Opinion of the two girls who just witnessed a murder in the cemetery, a murder that took place 2 years before.
Okay, that was a gun.
Said fiction on this one.
Was this story inspired by an actual event?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Research found a published report of a similar story.
Okay. 3 for 4 now. Still a chance for
The
4.
story of the good deed performed by Frank and Jesse James.
And I said true on this one.
You can tell your friends. You were just robbed by Frank and Jesse James.
Can it be this story is fact? Yes, it is.
Yes.
The
Okay.
event is reported as having taken place in the Ozark foothills in 1870.
So starting out season 4 with a 4. Not bad.
So do you still think that fact and fiction are polar opposites? Or do they occupy the exact same space? One.
On this show, they definitely do.
This is Campbell Lane.
Yeah, Campbell Lane, don't know you. But yeah, let's wrap this one up. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning into my first Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction reaction of Season 4. And I get a 4 to start the season out, so fitting, I guess. Wish I could have gotten the 5, but this show plays tricks on you sometimes, and, you know, it's hard to get a perfect score. I've only gotten 2 so far. But, you know, I'll definitely take a 4 to start Season 4. So, a lot of great stories in this one. You know, that middle one touched my heart. It was a fictional story, but, you know, they did a really good job in, you know, pulling the old heartstrings there. And I'm definitely looking up that Frank and Jesse James story when I get done here, because, you know, that's different. I've never heard of any kind of story of, you know, outlaws doing that kind of thing, you know, helping the old lady and, you know, stealing the money back when she paid it. So, good way to start Season 4. Let's continue it in the next one, shall we? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Check out my sports vlogging channel, Jordan's Vlogs. And until next time, this is Jordan saying you can be productive sitting at home on your couch. All you need is a TV, a great catalog, and a vision. This has been Jordan's Vision. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.